If you serve overseas on a tight income, the military has a tax-free food check for you worth up to $1,100 a month, and most families who qualify have never even heard of it. By the end of this, you will know in 5 minutes whether it is money your own family should be claiming right now. And there is a line that decides everything here, one that quietly rules some families in and a lot of others out before they ever apply.
River, the shape of it is this. It is called the Family Subsistence Supplemental Allowance, FSSA, and it exists for a hard reason. Some military families overseas, on one income with kids, still land below the poverty line, so this tops up their food money to close that gap. It is one of the quietest safety nets in the whole system, and one of the most important for the families it reaches abroad.
Today we break down exactly who qualifies, why it only works overseas, and the real number a family can actually see each month. This is the kind of benefit that can genuinely change what a family's grocery run looks like every single week.
And the money is real. It is tax-free. It stacks right on top of your regular food allowance, your BAS, and depending on the gap, it can run up to $1,100 a month. That is serious grocery money for a struggling family.
And here's the part that catches people. This one is overseas only. Since 2016, if you are stationed inside the United States, FSSA is off the table, and a different program picks up stateside families instead.
But even overseas, it is not automatic. You have to apply for it, prove your income, and recertify. And that single hurdle is why so much of this money goes unclaimed year after year. Nobody at finance is going to knock on your door about it. The responsibility to start it sits entirely on you.
So here's the question I keep coming back to. Could there be up to $1,100 tax-free dollars a month waiting for your family overseas that will never show up unless you ask for it? Tax-free food money for families serving abroad, sitting unclaimed. There are free guides at military.professorerica.com. Now let us bring in some help and see exactly who qualifies. Real quick, because this next part matters to you. If any of this is helping, tap that like button, then hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next one finds you. Both are free and take about a second, but they tell the algorithm to show this to one more person who needs it. Professor Adiemi is joining us at the desk to help with the part that trips everyone up, figuring out who actually qualifies. So let us start there.
River, it really comes down to 3 gates a family has to clear, and getting these straight saves a lot of wasted hope. Gate 1 is location. You have to be serving overseas, outside the United States, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Guam. Inside the States, this door is closed, full stop. That single rule catches a lot of people off guard, so it is the very first thing to check before you get your hopes up.
Gate 2 is that you are on active duty and actually receiving BAS, the Basic Food Allowance. FSSA sits on top of that, so if you get BAS, you are in the pool this is built for. It is genuinely additional money on top of that food allowance, not a swap, which is what makes it worth the paperwork.
And Gate 3 is the income line. Your gross household income has to fall below 130% of the federal poverty guideline for your family size. That is the number that decides it.
And here's what I would add, because it is the misconception I see most. Families assume this is only for the junior enlisted. It is not. Officer or enlisted, rank does not gate it. What gates it is the income line against your family size, so a larger family clears a higher income and still qualifies. I have seen mid-grade families rule themselves out on a guess when the actual math would have qualified them easily.
So the real move is just to check your number honestly.
So do not count yourself out on a guess. If rank does not decide it and the line rises with your family, are you sure you would not qualify?
That is exactly the trap. So check your real number, and now let us look at how the actual dollar amount is set. So once a family qualifies, how is the actual dollar amount set? It is not a flat rate. It is built to fill a specific gap.
River, walk them through the math, because it is simpler than people fear. The system takes the 130% poverty line for your family size, and it looks at how far your household income falls below it. Whatever that gap is, month by month, is what FSSA pays to close it. A bigger gap means a bigger check. It is a precise, need-based figure, not a lottery, so two families in the same country can get very different amounts.
So a family barely under the line gets a little.
A little, and a family far under the line gets a lot, right up to the ceiling. And there is a ceiling. FSSA is capped at $1,100 a month, so even a very large gap stops there. That is the most it will ever pay. So a family should not build a fantasy around it, but they also should not underestimate it, because for a large family far under the line, that ceiling is real money.
And the best part is how clean that money is.
It is completely tax-free, and it stacks right on top of your BAS, your regular food allowance. So it is not replacing anything, it is pure additional grocery money. But you have to recertify it, because if your income or family situation changes and you do not update it, the payments can just stop. It is a quick annual step, not a fresh application from scratch, but skipping it is how families quietly lose a benefit they still qualify for.
So it rewards the family that keeps their paperwork current. Professor Adiemi, let me hand you the real number. For a family overseas that does qualify, what does this actually look like in dollars?
Let me ground it. Picture an overseas family whose income gap works out to about $600 a month. That is a very ordinary case, not the ceiling.
River, run the year on that. $600 a month after month, adds up fast.
It really does. $600 a month across a year is about $7,200, and because FSSA is tax-free, the tax line is zero. That is $7,200 of pure food money this family would have missed by never applying. Picture what that does across a year for a young family overseas, where a jar of peanut butter can cost double what it does back home.
And that is on top of the BAS they already get.
Entirely on top. It does not touch their BAS or their base pay. But here is the honest guardrail, and it matters. If you are stationed stateside, this specific check is not for you. You would look at the basic needs allowance instead. FSSA is the overseas answer, and only the overseas answer. Chase the right door for where you actually are, and you never leave money sitting on the table. I cannot stress that enough, because it is the most common way families waste months chasing a benefit that was never going to reach them where they are standing.
So the move is simple. If you are overseas and tight on income, apply through your finance office and recertify every year to keep it current. It is the single simplest habit that keeps this money flowing to a family that genuinely needs it.
Professor Adiemi, thank you. That framing, that it is real tax-free money but overseas only and never automatic, is exactly what keeps a family from chasing the wrong door.
Glad to help.
So check your number, apply through finance, and recertify each year. If this helped you spot food money your family may be owed overseas, like the video and subscribe, it genuinely helps us keep making these. Here is what I want you sitting with after this. How many families are serving overseas right now, below the line, with a tax-free check in their name they never once claimed? Up to $1,100 a month, tax-free, if you serve overseas and simply apply. Check your number this week. I am Erica, and we will see you in the next one. One honest look at the poverty line for your family size overseas could put real money back on your table.